Freshman Republican Congressman George Santos is now being accused of stealing from his own donors, as if his already alleged criminality wasn't bad enough. Now, here are the new accusations against Santos, which we're learning about thanks to a new surprising indictment that was filed just today by federal prosecutors. U.S. Attorney Breon Stacy Peace said in a statement that Santos is charged with stealing people's identities and making charges on his own donors' credit cards without their authorization, lying to the FEC and, by extension, the public about the financial state of his campaign. Santos falsely inflated the campaign's reported receipts with non-existent loans and contributions that were either fabricated or stolen. So the original indictment against George Santos was actually filed in May by federal prosecutors. However, the superseding indictment contains several new counts, and here are the counts in question. So 1 count of conspiracy to commit offenses against the United States, 2 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of making materially false statements to the Federal Election Commission, 2 counts of falsifying records submitted to obstruct the FEC, 2 counts of aggravated identity theft, and 1 count of access device fraud. That brings the number of counts, total counts, to 23. And as of reporting on this right now, it does not appear that George Santos has responded to the superseding indictment. So far, though, Santos has placed the blame for his alleged illegal and criminal activity on his campaign treasurer, Nancy Marks, throwing her under the bus. Now, I don't know anything about Nancy Marks, but I would be shocked to learn that she has the kind of history and background that George Santos does. But the updated indictment came 5 days after Marks pleaded guilty to a felony count of conspiracy to defraud the United States and admitted to her role in fraudulently reporting a fictional $500,000 loan that Santos claimed to have made to his campaign. Marks said in court that she and an unnamed co-conspirator understood to be Santos, a Republican from New York, agreed to making reports of false donations and falsifying the loans. Now, she has, obviously pleaded guilty, so she's culpable. But fish rots from the head down, and George Santos has a history of alleged fraud and all sorts of lies that should have been caught prior to him getting elected into Congress had the media done their job and actually did, the kind of opposition research they have no problem doing with progressive candidates, with people like Nina Turner or Cenk Uygur. They've got plenty of time to do the oppo research on those candidates. Couldn't be bothered with George Santos, whose lies were just out in the open. It's just amazing to me. But anyway, that's a United States congressman.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a Trump move to blame the person that was on your staff. You ask them to do something illegal, then they make the mistake of doing it, and then you both get caught. They have to step down, and the minute they step down, you go, "We weren't winning with her. It's her fault. I pick all the wrong people. They're all morons. They're all the worst." Every one of them for Trump. Every single one of them. It was never Trump's fault. It was always the other people's fault. Same exact fact pattern here with Santos. He had asked her to do something illegal. She makes the mistake of doing it. She steps down and admits guilt. And then he goes, "Oh, it was her. It was her. It wasn't me." He better not get away with this crap. So, all right. The second issue here is why. I'm not sure anybody else is covering this. Why bother lying about a $500,000 that you got into your campaign? Like, if you're not familiar with politics, it seems like kind of a weird lie. You don't actually, just because you say you have the 500,000 doesn't mean you have the 500,000. So why bother seeming to do something needlessly illegal? Because it's not needless. Here's the part they never tell you. The more it seems like you raise, the more money, the more the press will treat you with credibility, and hence will not investigate you. To Anna's point. Then they'll go, "Oh, that is a beautiful, credible Republican candidate. He's raised so much money. He's really good at corruption. Bravo, leading Republican candidate. Bravo, excellent at raising donor money. Way to serve the corporations." I mean, credible, very credible. That's why he lied about having money he didn't have so that the press can kiss his ass. And that's actually the real sickness in our system. And you can see that going forward. In any election, read any article, And they'll tell you the first thing is, here's the people with the most amount of money. They won't talk about where the money came from and what they have to do to get that money. Here's the people with the most amount of money. They are the most likely to win. They are the most credible. And then 17 paragraphs later, here's some other people running who are actually on your side, but we're saying are not credible and you should not consider them because they did not get bribed enough. So the press drives everything to this. And then finally, the last part is that it's so symbolic. I mean, George Santos is not an outlier. He's just a guy who did things on steroids. So all the politicians lie. He just lied about everything, right? All the politicians do greasy fundraising. He did it, he just didn't do it well enough. Almost all the politicians fudge facts for the FEC, fudge facts in 1,000 different ways. And they're within the system. And so nobody ever pursues them, but he got caught afterwards. And so that doesn't mean he should get off. They should prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. Actually, super last thing, I'm curious what Republican reaction to this is, because I know in his district he was rejected by the Republican voters when all this stuff came out. And I saw a poll saying, no, we got to get a new guy, this guy's awful. But he's been talking against the deep state and he wore the weapon thing and all killing people and all. He's been saying all the Trump-like things.
Circle the wagons.
So I don't know.
Circle the wagons. I mean, he's saying what he needs to say to appeal to, the Republican, the Republicans in Congress, and to some extent, I guess, the Republican base, if he's like fear-mongering about the deep state. So circle the wagons, protect the guy. He might have stolen from his own donors. Protect him at all costs.
Yeah.
Our government is pathetic. It is broken and it is pathetic. The fact that we have so many clowns in the circus who get away, in some cases with criminality, is disgusting. Okay, the American people deserve better. It is unfair that they are represented by corrupt politicians and absolute circus sideshows.
100%. And I just hope that him and Bob Menendez wind up in the same jail cell.
100%.
Yeah, so, and if you don't think either one of them, and that's why I'm curious. Like the Democrats in the beginning tried to defend Menendez because they're like, what? I mean, he just went a little further than we do. We take it as campaign contributions, etc. He just wound up stuffing it into his pants, right? And then they realized, oh, this is a bridge too far, and then they abandoned Menendez. That's why I'm so curious what Republicans are gonna do with Santos, because if he says enough of the Trump talking points, do they circle the wagons around him? Or is this a bridge too far for Republican voters? Please tell me it's too far, please. We'll find out. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.